Hi everybody, I'm back with another video. In this video is an article. I was scrolling through notifications and saw this article where a 12-year-old boy and a 14-year-old girl broke into a home, found weapons, and opened fire on deputies. And in this article, we see where the girl was shot in the abdomen and the arm and is fighting for her life. I mean, we see most kids um, in the black community, they aren't shot in the abdomen or the leg. They aren't fighting for their lives. They're basically riddled with thousands of bullets and die on the spot, laying there in their blood for hours or whatever, like Michael Brown. But my point with this is, the sheriff said, I don't know what to say. Where have we gone wrong that a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old think it's okay to take on law enforcement? With that being said, what came to my mind was this. The understanding that came to my mind was this. You see so much of teenagers being gunned down in the street by law enforcement. Think about the girl that was with the knife. Think about the girl with the knife and what happened with her. She was shot in the back, 5 times in the back, head, neck, whatever, 5 times in the back. And she wasn't coming at any officer. She was defending herself against 2 grown women, for what I understand was called by the foster parent that had her living there to come handle her because she ain't cleaned the house like she said or whatever. I heard all kind of stories, but that's just one of them. So the police comes and just shoots her down because she's out of her mind defending herself against 2 grown women. She was 15, I think, and the women were like 30 and 31 or 29 and 30. Why are you there fighting a child? Back in the day, if you fought a child, and I know personally, my sister went to school with this girl. She was 14, 15? The women were 20s, 30s, fought this child. What a girl, they beat both of them up. When the police got there, it was the older woman who got beat up that went to jail, not the teenager that were beating mama and daughter butt. So my thing is, when we start gunning down children, but in this case, these 2 opened fire on law enforcement. So apparently they weren't in fear for their lives because they shot back, hitting her in the abdomen instead of the head, hitting her in the arm instead of the head, or the heart, or the chest, or the wherever they normally shoot kids that are caught up in a situation that they caught up in. But he said he don't know where these kids get the idea that it's okay to take on law enforcement. And I would think this, kids were taught early. I think it was starting with the millennial children were taught by the school system, law enforcement in the school system, the CPS. And this really started after this rich person abused and beat up the child, and the neighbors and heard the child screaming and hollering all the time, and they called the people over, and the people gave the child back to the man, and the man ended up killing the child. Right after that, the CPS, abusing children, you called it, all of that started. But anytime something starts somewhere else, it always be in the black community where things got to be taken care of, where it's actually not happening. But even though it's happening somewhere else, like the anti-Asian thing, we just see that this man killed 9 people. They were all Hispanic and Asians. But who are the ones they putting in jail for Asian attack, for anti-Asian stuff? Black people who are um, attacked by these people in their place of business that's in the black community. So with all that said, where did these kids get this idea? I think they get it from the fact that kids are taught to not listen to parents. Kids are so used to not listening to their parents, not having no respect for their parents, not having no respect for their teachers, who call DSS on parents for dumb reasons. And when the kids were just bored with disrespecting parents and their peers and their teachers and all authorities, now they take it another level. They don't have respect for law enforcement. But not having respect for law enforcement for anybody doesn't happen overnight. This has been a 30-year going thing. So that's where I think that idea comes, where you go and steal guns and it's open fire on law enforcement. Because from what we can see, a lot of these young kids in the black community, they don't have guns. And the guns that they do have, they're not opening fire on any law enforcement. They'll say, well, I saw a gun will be on the ground somewhere, a gun will be somewhere else, but you never see these guns in these children's hands opening fire on any law enforcement. So my thing is, I think they just come from these kids just bored. They don't have no respect for no authority, so they just take it a whole nother level. Stealing guns and opening fire on police. Something really got to be wrong with your mind, or child mind, to even go that level. And they say the deputies say they contacted the homeowner, who said that nobody should be home and that there was a handgun, pump shotgun, and AK-47 inside, as well as a large amount of ammunition, the sheriff's office said. As deputies surrounded the home and tried to establish the rapport with the boy and girl, they were met with gunfire. The sheriff said the sheriff office said the children fired at deputies on 4 separate occasions over about 35 minutes. When it took only 2 seconds, 1 second, more like a half a second, to gun a 12-year-old down in a park with a play gun. These kids got all these ammunition in here. And they over 35 minutes trying to talk these kids down. I don't know what wrong with them kids. At one point, the 14-year-old girl emerged from the home and threatened to kill the sergeant. Now, he said, we tried to de-escalate. Yeah, you try to de-escalate. But you don't try to, but we don't see we see escalation when it comes to the kids in the black community. But you try to de-escalate these children. Apparently to no success. Now, he said they tried to de-escalate before they was left with no other choice but to return fire. The officer had nowhere to hide but behind trees, he said. After the girl was shot, the boy, who had been armed with an AK-47, surrendered to the deputies, according to the sheriff's office. At least 8 deputies were involved in the incident. They have camera footage is expected to be released Wednesday, which is today. Now, in his press conference, well, I don't want to hear about the press conference because we know how that gonna go. They were good kids. They don't know what happened. They was raised by a certain family. The kids was probably suffering with bullying. Kids bullying them. The kids have some mental issues that they were dealing with, and da-da-da-da-da, compared to the shooting that happened in Florida. I think where these rappers were, they start shooting over there. I think the baby be questioning about something like that. What did the lady come out and say? We need to get these killers off the street. What about the killer that shoot up them 9 Asian and Hispanic? I ain't hear nobody screaming we need to get these killers off the street. You want to say that in the black community. But anyway, killing is killing. And why things are the way it is because we're living at a time now where time's up. Time's up. You got to pick a side. Or you're going to be on this side of love and compassion, like what Monique trying to tell these girls walking around these yellow city bonnets. Or you're going to be on the side of the negative where I can do whatever I want, even if it harms somebody else. But anyway, that's my thoughts on this video. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time. Bye.